And you don't stack shoes all over the floor.
Leave me alone.
Give me my shoes. This
Not
foot
even
pad.
awake yet, and you're abusing me.
Get up and give me my shoes. This foot pad hurts my feet.
Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. As you can see, I'm in the car. Haven't spoken to you guys from the car in a while, but I am waiting for my mum. I've just had to take her somewhere, and it's sunny for the first time in months. Apparently this is the first day of spring meteorologically. I'm not a meteorologist, so I have no clue, but it's nice and sunny. So if it's a bit glary, that's the reason why. Grab yourselves a drink and make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. Only if you want me. As we know, Meghan's new Netflix show begins in a couple of days, so we shouldn't be shocked that the British tabloid media, namely The Sun, who continues serving its target audience with the low-level offerings they eagerly wait for, couldn't wait to publish this non-story.
Making headlines this morning, jar wars. This is after the Princess of Wales offered her jam recipe for free yesterday. Do keep up. Just days after Meghan launched her new lifestyle brand. Well, with me now is broadcaster Sonali Shah, along with the Mirror's associate editor Russell Myers. Russell, what's going on? What's happening? What's clearly hugely important?
A pretty open-ended question for this subject, I think. I mean,
he's now a jam correspondent.
Yes, indeed. From the sublime to the ridiculous in this job often. But yes, jam wars, jar wars, whatever you want to call it. Apparently, the duchesses and the princesses are at war over preserves. So, what is it? We all know, of course, American Riviera Orchard, Meghan Markle's ill-fated...
Yes, I could never remember the title of that.
Well, it's a bit awkward, isn't
It's
it?
what, 3 words?
It is exactly
it
like
was,
that. Yeah, so
didn't...
we had that, and that turned into As Ever. People have been having a bit of fun with that, as if for poor Meghan. But the Princess of Wales was with Prince William yesterday in Pontypridd in Wales and visiting locals who've had a pretty tough time the last few months with some devastating floods there at the end of last year.
it's
But
terrible.
she was mixing with some local school kids, and they were talking about how they'd come together and done some cooking lessons. And she said, "I'm going to send you my recipe for plum jam." And of course, everybody has lost their minds over this because the duchesses and the princesses must be at war over
so
things like this. But I mean, I've gone into the vaults of this sort of stuff because of the, so the journalist that I am, and wanted to bring you the facts. And apparently, Kate has been making jam since about 2012, I'll have you know. So,
Really?
You know, who did it
these
first?
are the things we
I
need to
don't
know.
want to draw divisions.
But
this is where we are.
But still,
You don't have a jam recipe unless you've been doing it for a while, because otherwise you're just picking a
Unless
jar
you have a lot
off
of
the
time
shelf.
on your hands, I think.
Well, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. What do we think about this? Is it silly? It is silly, isn't it?
As soon as I saw the jam comment, and actually she was talking to some kids who were growing plums, so I thought that was a lovely thing to say.
Yeah,
We all
sweet.
kind of want her jam recipe now.
Yes.
I think what we saw yesterday from Kate, Catherine and William was what we want to see. You know, we saw excitement from everyone in Pontypridd. I think that kind of royal visit can really lift an area that's gone through something. I thought they were quite close and they were holding hands
was a
coming
bit of
out
PDA.
of the
Yeah, there
station.
was, actually.
Maybe they're showing a bit more vulnerability, which
Yeah.
is quite nice. So there's a bit of a rawness, a bit of a maybe vulnerability between them, maybe after everything they've gone through.
Of course.
I think it was nice to see them out and about.
Yeah, we spoke about this recently about, I thought that they would do joint engagements. You know, Kate is coming back to duties. It's a bit of a baby steps model for her after her cancer treatment. It was right, that's nice that she went out with William yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're right, there is this sort of closeness. And she said that herself recently, things have changed. You know, she's been through a life-changing
Gosh,
experience.
absolutely.
And
And look
things
at
have
the
changed,
crowds.
both at home and abroad.
Look at the people there.
Yeah, lots of people out making Welsh cakes. Talking
yeah, I
about
like-
Mary Berry being
Yes.
his inspiration.
They had a
his
bit of a
teacher.
competition. That was really nice.
But talking
Bit
about
of fun.
competition, do you not think, surely it has to stop quite soon, that every time either Meghan does something or Catherine does something, it's like there's always, you know, people want to see a clash, even
Yeah.
when there isn't one.
Listen, when I first started this job, I was very surprised at sort of how tribal it was between Harry and Meghan and William and Kate.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
pick
that
a
has
side sort
died
of
down
thing.
now.
Hope so.
And what a lot of people don't like is the sort of pitting women
You
against each
don't
other.
need
I
to
think we
do
need
that
stop
anymore.
that.
They can both have their jam. And actually, what's interesting is we're waiting for Meghan's jam. And in the meantime, this has just happened, which is what we were talking about last week. You can just go out there and put it out there.
Yeah.
And not have to sort of pre-launch anything.
Well,
Yeah.
there's been
We
a
wish
lot
them
of
both success.
comparisons
Yeah,
about
exactly.
Pamela Anderson's new venture as well, because she's got
know,
a new show called
has.
With Love. Everybody's in love.
And do you know
Maybe
what?
we need more love.
When you look at it, it does look very similar to what Meghan is trying to do. But then don't they all?
Does anyone have an original idea anymore?
Not
Maybe
when it comes to that sort of
But do you
Okay.
think we're quite British about it? So in a way that the American style of doing things, it feels a little bit not our culture.
I
We're
see.
a little bit more sceptical, aren't we?
Very
We just want-
nicey.
Now, under last Sunday's video, one of my house guests left a comment regarding this individual who was interviewed by 60 Minutes Australia.
The job was doubly demanding for Jason because he didn't just work for the heir, but also the spare. Could William and Harry's broken brotherly bond ever be rebuilt? If there's one thing Prince William has always been good at, it's drawing a crowd.
Good evening.
When royalty calls, the stars shine bright. And it was Jason Knauf's job to harness that publicity as his press secretary.
Neither of the prince or the princess would choose to be public figures. They're not that interested in the fame and celebrity that comes with it. In fact, not really interested at all. And I think that, that makes it quite interesting in today's world to see people out there doing their jobs, but for the right reasons.
It was your job, Jason, to control their image, and they are the most popular royals. You must have done a good job.
Well, I don't think anyone can control the image of anyone in today's media world, social media world. You just can't. All you can do is help people be themselves. With both of these people, with the prince and princess, what you see is what you really get behind the scenes as well.
For the first 4 of his 7 years with the royal family, Jason was a key advisor for not just William and Kate, but Harry and Meghan too. At the couple's very first public appearance together, Jason was right behind them.
I worked really closely with the two of them, and we had lots of great times. Working on their wedding was an amazing, magical experience. And, you know, I wish them absolutely all the best with their lovely family.
If you sense there's a bit more to the story, you're right. While Jason was keeping a close eye on the couple's public image, behind the scenes, a storm was brewing. Just a few months after he joined them on this trip to Ireland in 2018, their first as husband and wife, Jason raised concerns the Duchess was upsetting junior staff.
I am very concerned that the Duchess was able to bully 2 PAs out of the household in the past year. We have had report after report from people who have witnessed unacceptable behavior.
You know, I think so much of it is...
Fast forward 3 years, and that email was leaked to the media, just days before Harry and Meghan's explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey.
I don't know how they could expect that after all of this time, we would still just be silent if there is an active role that the firm is playing in perpetuating falsehoods about us.
The PR man suddenly found himself in the spotlight, and it only intensified when he gave evidence in a court case between Meghan and a tabloid newspaper. But ever the professional, he's still choosing his words carefully. You had some unwanted public attention on you. Was it tough?
I think it's tough, but it's probably quite good. You know, someone who has been helping other people through how to deal with the public eye. You probably have to take your own medicine sometimes. You can't choose just to take the fun stuff in any job. And, you know, that applies to the Prince and Princess as well as everyone else working for them. So I wouldn't change anything.
You wouldn't do anything differently?
No, not what I would have thought. But, you know, at the end of the day, you get to do an amazing job. You've got to take everything that comes with it.
It was an honour to be asked to be based at Highgrove because it's...
Like Jason, Grant Harold knows what it's like to work for the royals. He was King Charles's butler at his country property, Highgrove, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Some of his fondest memories are watching William and Harry back when they were teenagers and the best of mates.
Two of them were the practical jokers. They were a team where they used to wind each other up, and if you were involved in it, you get brought into this winding up situation, this comedy, brotherly kind of fun. It was like that all the time. That's why it's so sad how that's completely changed. It's extraordinary how much it could change.
Harry and Meghan announced they'll be stepping down.
It's been 5 years since Harry and Meghan stepped down from their royal duties.
Trapped within the system.
And while he hasn't held back,
my father and my brother, they are trapped. They don't get to leave.
William has maintained a dignified silence. But Jason knows it's been extremely tough.
We have ups and downs in family. Even when you really love someone, you know, you can have times when you don't want to spend that much time with them. You know, it's very difficult to have this stuff play out in the public eye, but he's chosen to keep his thoughts on it private. And I think all of us who know him really have to respect that we should do the same. But I will say, of course, it's been hard and sad, especially for all of us who know both of them.
Do you think Harry's role in the royal family could change once his brother is king?
I can't speculate on the future. They achieved a lot together, and none of that can ever be taken away. This may be an extraordinary family that everyone gets to talk about and write about and see be interviewed and all that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a family.
I have. Not well, yes, kind of similar to that.
If you ask Grant, the broken bond won't last forever.
Never before.
You would have served many a tea for the king.
It's a big part of the royal way of life.
If anything could bring the brothers back together,
He's a good-looking ginger, it's all right.
he believes it will be William's coronation.
I have no doubt that Wayne would want his brother to be, not so much maybe to play a part in it, but certainly to to be there.
Do you think Harry wants anything to do with it?
It appears to be he's quite happy with his kind of new life and his way of doing things, which is you couldn't get further away from the royal family if you could by what he's doing. But in saying that, I still think he would be there to support his brother as he has been for his father.
Nearly 2 years after Harry and Meghan left the palace, Jason Knauf did too. But he remains close to William and in 2023 was formally recognised for his service. While Jason isn't employed by the royal family anymore, he still works closely with William on the Earthshot Prize. It's an annual award that funds ideas aimed at fixing the world's biggest environmental problems.
I'm very curious as to where this man's energy has disappeared to in this interview. He seems extremely tight-lipped for someone who had so much smoke for Meghan when he brought allegations which to this day cannot be proven. For the sake of clarity, here's a dictionary definition of the word
bully.
According to Oxford Languages, the noun bully is a person who habitually seeks to harm or intimidate those whom they perceive as vulnerable. Similar nouns include persecutor, oppressor, tyrant. The verb to bully is to seek to harm, intimidate or coerce someone perceived as vulnerable. Similar verbs to persecute, to oppress, to tyrannize. Isn't it ironic that those who behave as if butter wouldn't melt in their mouths seem to be the ones who actually do the bullying?
We went into Prince Andrew's bedroom and we opened the curtains, the sun comes beaming through.
Good morning, Your Royal Highness.
And the Prince replied, "Off. You just suck it up, because you're bigger than that, and you don't complain."
Prince Philip's temper is legendary. He runs the royal firm with an iron rod. I've seen majors and generals come out of Prince Philip's room in tears.
The Prince of Wales' household is lavish, and he's famously difficult to please.
Prince Charles said to his valet, "Why aren't those cufflinks here?" He said, "Oh, I didn't know you wanted them, sir. They're down at Highgrove. A round trip of 200 miles. They sent a footman. When he came back with them, Charles had changed his mind. He went to in for another pair."
The Prince of Wales has grown up in such a privileged lifestyle that he doesn't have mechanics to choose for himself anymore. Everything is done for him. His pajamas are pressed every morning so that they don't have creases in them for the next day. His shoelaces are pressed flat with an iron. His underwear is folded in a certain way. The bath towel has to be placed in a certain fashion. The bath plug has to be in a certain position. The water temperature has to be just tepid and only half full. Prince Charles does have his valet squeeze 1 inch of toothpaste onto his toothbrush every morning. If anyone gets anything wrong, everybody is scolded. On one occasion, he rang me from his library and he said, "Oh, Paul, a letter from the Queen seems to have fallen into my waste paper bin. Would you pick it out?" The waste paper bin was there. He was sat there. I had to bend down into the paper bin and pick out the letter, put it back on his desk. "Will that be all, Your Royal Highness?" "Yes, thank you very much."
Now, I'm extremely grateful, very thankful that I don't know what it's like to have an uncaring, spiteful, despicable, manipulative mother. But here's someone who does. Meghan's niece, Ashley Hale, the daughter of Meghan's half-sister, Samantha Grant. One thing that always makes me laugh and shake my head is when Meghan's detractors accuse her of discarding the paternal side of her family. Now, if that is true, you would not see Meghan invite her niece into her home, into her life, into the lives of her children, and enjoy a very close relationship with Ashley. While Samantha has absolutely no relationship with her daughter at all. Could it be because Samantha seems to be extremely comfortable treating people like this?
I'm going to Peace River and tell them what an abuser you are. My neck's almost broken and you're going to treat me this way? You're the one that trashes the house and you're the bully, you
No, you
projector.
dump stuff over and don't want to pick it up.
Leave me alone. My neck is fucking
Give me my
broken.
shoes and my tray. And you don't stack shoes all over the floor.
Leave me alone.
Give me my shoes. This
Not
foot
even
pad.
awake yet and you're abusing me.
Get up and give me my shoes. This foot pad hurts my feet. You don't can do what you want and then flop on the bed and lay down all day.
My neck is almost broken.
Oh, bullshit.
I'm
Give
not
me
even
some
awake
shoes.
yet and you're abusing me.
Give me some shoes, you drama queen, and give me my tray and my phone.
I'm a drama queen. My neck, I'm ready to be in traction, you fucking
Give
idiot.
me my shoes and my phones.
Shut up.
Okay, if I have to go over there, I'm going to run your shoes over to go get them. Give me my stuff.
You do it. I'm going to Peace River and tell them.
Here are some images of Kate and Meghan. Most of us would be able to tell which ones are genuine and which ones have been digitally manipulated. Something that the Waleses appear to be experts at if we cast our minds back to last year. The manipulated images are a representation of how we are treated by the establishment. They like to give us the impression that everything in the royal household is in order with a pristine facade, when in fact, just like their old residences, things seem to be falling apart behind the scenes. We mustn't forget that William and Kate have to remain stoic because they have a reputation to maintain. Furthermore, Jason Knauf, I never knew how to pronounce his name before, has to remain biased in his view that William is ready for the top job and he and Kate are extremely strong. Because British society is too fragile to even contemplate the alternative. I suspect, however, that William's pride will stop him from receiving the support of his only sibling during his coronation and his reign, unlike Charles, who had and still has the support of his. With International Women's Day just a few days away, in an ideal world, this is what many people would have liked to have seen. Two close sisters-in-law. However, because it displeases the establishment to see Meghan comfortably free, enjoying her work and enjoying her life, not at our financial expense, some people still need to be reminded. The establishment must ensure that we are always presented with a distorted perception of Meghan, because that seems to be the only way you're able to have a perfect perception of the next queen to be. Okay guys, Jar Wars. History has shown us, century after century, decade after decade, year after year, that when there's a war, when there's a conflict anywhere in the world, there are people who are making big money from these situations. There are people behind the scenes who actually set these things up. In my humble opinion, they orchestrate these conflicts because they know that they will benefit financially. It's no different when we talk about Kate and Meghan, or women in general really, but let's stick to Kate and Meghan because they are the prominent figures in this video. Why is it that every time Meghan does something, the royal family, all of a sudden, they have the same product? Because I remember when Meghan pre-launched American Riviera Orchard, she had sent her preserves to some of her friends. She didn't ask for payment, or she sent it to them as a gift. Then we had the Royal Collection, who were showcasing their jams as if to say they had the monopoly on preserves. And now apparently Kate has been making preserves since 2012 and she wants to share her jam recipe. Anyone can make jam, okay? Anybody should be free. We live in a free society. Anyone should be able to make jam. But when it comes to Meghan, it's the biggest trigger for some people. If Kate wants to give her recipe freely, she should be allowed to do that. Just as if Meghan wants to promote her preserves, she should be able to do that. She's not in competition with the royal household. She's not in competition with the royal collection. She's not in competition with Kate. Meghan is beyond that. And let me be honest in my view here. Kate is not someone that I have any ill feeling towards or any strong feelings. I'm literally indifferent. You've heard me say this on the channel. I have to give Kate the benefit of the doubt that she is also above all of this. Or, in my opinion, guys, all she did was make a casual remark, you know, when they put it in context about, you know, they're talking about plums or whatever the story was, and she just casually said, oh, I'll send you my recipe for plum jam. The skeptical side of me, the cynical side of me might say that was, you know, might conclude that was deliberate. I personally don't think it was deliberate. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The Sun and their ilk, all of these toxic-minded media types, they make money out of warring women. And unfortunately, some of these media types are women. And this is why I am so cynical about International Women's Day, because when they talk about women supporting women, that is not true across the board. And it never will be, because some of these women who have these prominent positions, like these journalists, Meghan Kelly, Angela Levin, all of these other people who despise Meghan with a passion, they're not supportive women. Unless you look like them, unless you think like them. Anything that happens to Meghan, they cannot wait to pounce on it and use it as an opportunity to bash her even further. As I said earlier, when we cast our mind back to last year, we were manipulated left, right and centre, upside down, inside out, back to front by Kensington Palace, with fake photos, fake videos, fake statements. It was consistent. You divert your attention away from the fact that these royal family members who reside on this side of the pond are fleecing us. And I don't care how much I sound like a broken record, I will always say it. Stop focusing on Meghan, who's making a living for herself and her family. She's not taking money from us. How dare these people talk about a cost of living crisis when you've got the members of the highest social level taking money from us day after day after day after day. And that's why, guys, there will always be a deliberate distortion of the Duchess of Sussex. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go and see what my mum's up to. So if your thoughts were provoked in any way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you should catch me in the next video.